The final thing in this lesson is finding the missing coordinate. So what's going to happen here is, instead of finding the slope, they're going to give us the slope, and then we have to find one of the missing values, so either an x or a y. And there are two different ways we do this. If you're missing an x, there's one way to do it. If you're missing a y, there's another way to do it. So let's take a look at these two and see what happens. So again, we're going to use slope formula. So that's going to be m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's set it up. It would be negative 2 minus 8 over r minus 6 equals 1. Let's go and set up number 11. It would be r minus negative 3 over 7 minus negative 1. Now, what we're going to be doing here is, after we set them up, we're going to be solving for r. That's what we're trying to find. And so there's two different ways to do this. If your variable's on bottom, you're going to end up having to cross multiply to get that number off the bottom, or get that variable off the bottom rather. If your variable is on top, you don't have to cross multiply. All you have to do is just solve the equation like normal. So let's take a look at this first one. Now, in both of these, what you're going to do is you're going to go in and combine the two numbers that you can. So negative 2 minus 8 would give us negative 10. So we have negative 10 over r minus 6 equals 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply to get that r off the bottom. But I can't cross multiply because this 1 right here is not a fraction. So to make it a fraction, I put a 1 underneath it. Then I cross multiply. Negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. And then r minus 6 times 1 is r minus 6. Then to solve the equation, I just add 6 over. And negative 10 plus 6 would give us negative 4. So that's what r would equal. Now, if your variable is on top, like we have over here on number 11, it's a lot less work. You don't have to cross multiply. You just solve it like a normal equation. But before we do that, let's combine some like terms. Well, first of all, here up top, two negatives make a positive, so that would be r plus 3 on top. And then on bottom, again, two negatives make a positive, so 7 plus 1 would be 8 on bottom. Now we solve the equation, so we need to move the 3 and the 8. The 8 goes first, so we multiply times 8. So 3/4 times 8 would give us 6. So r plus 3 equals 6. And then we subtract 3 over to finish it off, and we get r equals, and 6 minus 3 would be 3. So that's what r would equal. And that's how you find the missing variable. And that's it for this section. If you have any questions, send me a message on Remind.